Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new box office breakdown show here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinenberg. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, movie rankings, and this show every single Monday. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on the box office from this past weekend? And also, please like the video. And also, what are you going to see this upcoming weekend? And please like the video, guys, the thumbs up button. That's how you support this channel. So we're going to break down the box office domestically of the weekend of September 23rd to September 25th. We're also going to look at the 2022 domestic and worldwide charts, as well as preview the upcoming week in theaters. So let's get into this weekend's chart. In first place, not shockingly, is the big release of September, really, which was Don't Worry, Darling, the second to last film of the year from Warner Brothers Discovery. This is the second film from Olivia Wilde with Florence Pugh that has been getting a lot of drama off screen. I think Warner Brothers really thought would make this movie must watch on the big screen, but it opened at $19.3 million. I think it really needed a 2 in front of it. It had over $3 million worth of Thursday opening. So it really struggled at the box office based on how good they had in their opening on Thursday night screenings across the country. As I said, Florence Pugh and Harry Styles are big leads, but really it seems like the off-screen drama has really cost this movie. Florence Pugh denied on promoting the movie. So really Olivia Wilde became the only person promoting the movie due to Florence Pugh's just not agreeing with not being a fan of really Olivia Wilde and the Harry Styles relationship and all those other personal things. Styles really struggling promoting the film at, I think it was, if it was not TIFF, it was in Italy, I think, whatever those big film festivals. He really struggled. So the movie was kind of just being laughed at. The reviews also were not very good, both from critics and audiences. So if this maybe and a second outing for Olivia Wilde, again, she made an indie film, Booksmart, which I love. But again, that was an indie film. To go to this is a big jump for her. So we'll see if Olivia Wilde gets another movie off of this. I don't think the career of Florence Pugh is anywhere near in danger. Well, I'll be seeing this movie tomorrow, and a review will drop here on the channel. In second place in its second weekend is The Woman King, which opened basically the same amount, $19 million. Like, don't worry, darling. Last week, it only drops 42% its second week, and it gets $11 million, which is a $36.1 million total in 2 weeks in theaters. Solid numbers for Woman King. As I said, if it's a below 50% drop, that's a pretty good to solid drop off. And this is very similar to Barbarian, except Woman King made a lot more money than Barbarian. So Woman King doing very well, very solid. But I do feel like both these films, for people who are interested, seem to be holding steady, that they want to watch this at home and are not rushing out to the theater to see either Don't Worry, Darling or The Woman King. Because by the time Oscar season starts rolling around, this one will be very cheap on the PVOD market. So I guess some people were in, but still a very good drop off for The Woman King. It's being very solid. That is a Sony movie in number 2. And number 3 is a re-release. Yes, that's right. A re-release of the first Avatar film. They have been heavily promoting this for the last month, and it took half the IMAX screens away from Don't Worry, Darling this weekend. As Disney, technically this is 20th Century Fox, but this is really now Disney, promoting that the sequel is coming out in December, Avatar 2, The Way of Water. And I think they showed 5 minutes of the movie if you got to see this film in IMAX. I heard that 95% of the sales were to see this movie in 3D. This is one of the rare movies ever that people just go to see in 3D. It gets $10.5 million this weekend. It takes its overall domestic total to $771 million. Again, this movie came out 13 years ago in 2009. It has not been in movie theaters since November of 2010 domestically, as they watched Avengers Endgame pass it worldwide. Now Avatar, with its overall weekend back in theaters, has now retaken the spot number 1 from Avengers Endgame. But a really good way of promoting the sequel coming out, re-releasing it, putting it in IMAX screens, 3D screens. So big win for Disney this past week, getting $10 million for a movie that came out 13 years ago. Just shows you that the sequel coming out in December is going to make a lot a lot of money. We'll see how much. At number 4 is Barbarian, the horror film that came out. This is its third weekend. It takes a 26% drop, and it goes to $4.8 million. Its domestic total is now up to 28.4. This is a film from 20th Century Fox, which is now Disney. Really solid holds for a horror film, and I think this movie does have a good shot at maybe holding steady in heading into Halloween month, which is October. But there are a couple of horror films hitting theaters that probably will knock Barbarian out of the top 5, but still, the drop-offs for a horror film are usually really bad, and Barbarian has really held steady, even though it hasn't made bank or anything like that. It's doing good money for a very low-budgeted film, so good news there as well. And in 5th place is Searchlight, and that is with See How They Run. It made $1.91 million. It beats the number 6 movie Pearl by $1,000. Actually, if we did this video on Sunday, Pearl would be number 5, but See How They Run just gets past them with the final numbers coming in today with 1.91 compared to 1.9 for See How They Run. It's a 36% drop. It's only made $6 million in its 2 weekends. As I said last week, stacked cast of Saoirse Ronan and Sam Rockwell and David Oyelowo, but literally no sense of promotion for this movie. I think most people don't even know this movie is out, and 6 million 2 weekends is just not enough. So we'll see if this movie finds its audience on streaming. When we get to the overall domestic charts this year, we literally have had no changes for a long time. So we might have a new $100 million movie as soon as next week. Top Gun is at number 1 of 711. Doctor Strange 2 is at 411, number 2. Jurassic World Dominion at number 3. The Batman is at number 4. Minions: The Rise of Gru number 5. Thor: Love and Thunder at 6. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 at 7. Elvis is at 8. Uncharted is at 9. Nope wraps up the top 10. The other $100 million movies as well. Lightyear at 11 and The Lost City at 12. But this will change next week, as now at number 13 is Bullet Train. Bullet Train's up to $99.2 million. So it basically needs just under $800,000 to get to the $100 million goal. It will get there. As I said, it got there a lot slower than we think. Bullet Train's finally outside of the top 5 for Sony, but Bullet Train, when I talk to you next week, will be the 13th movie of the year to get to $100 million. And when we look at the worldwide charts, this is where the biggest news kind of the weekend was. So Top Gun Maverick still number 1 by a landslide, still $1.4 billion for Top Gun Maverick. Its run in theaters for the most part has ended. But the big news is that Jurassic World Dominion, which was crawling its way to $1 billion for a long time, has finally got there. Jurassic World Dominion completes the trilogy of all 3 Jurassic World films for Universal, all getting $1 billion. Huge, huge news for Universal. This one was in the low 900s when its run ended in the United States, but the worldwide numbers, it has 624 of that money, 624 million of that billion going to international, which is only 37% of that money domestically. So unbelievable numbers for this film. Again, this is a Jurassic World franchise that I do not believe will be dying anytime soon, because all 3 films now, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and now Dominion, all $1 billion films. Doctor Strange is at 952. It's at number 3. Minions: The Rise of Gru is at 919. The Batman number 5, Thor: Love and Thunder is at 6, and we wrap up the top 10 with Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore at number 9, and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 at number 10. So a kind of very interesting weekend. Don't worry, darling, does not do as great as I think Warner Brothers clearly thought, but Universal is really the big winner of the weekend, as Jurassic World Dominion gets to $1 billion this week. So we have a couple new movies, really one main movie, 2 movies hitting theaters exclusively this weekend. Smile, which had a very limited release last week, is in theaters now for worldwide starting this Friday, getting rave reviews. And then Bros, the Billy Eichner movie coming out, is coming out as well. That is coming out on Friday as well. So those are 2 kind of big movies hitting theaters this weekend. really it's streaming that has a lot of the big movies coming out this weekend. The Zac Efron, Russell Crowe, Apple TV Plus movies coming out on Friday. The Marilyn Monroe, Ana de Armas movie, Blonde, is hitting Netflix on Wednesday as pertains to Friday. So those are kind of the new big things hitting theaters and streaming this weekend. So we have upcoming videos here on the channel tomorrow, Tuesday night, East Coast time. Again, my review of Don't Worry, Darling in a non-spoiler fashion. We'll break that down on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'll get my episode 4 spoiler review of Andor. Episode 8 of She-Hulk, that review will be coming spoiler fashion on Thursday. And then Friday, I'll have a new review of Smile, which is hitting theaters this week, and I'll have a review for Smile. We'll see where I can fit in Blonde and the Zac Efron movie. We shall see if it's this week or next week, but I did break down that review. And then back here on Monday, we'll do another box office breakdown show, breaking down the last week of stuff on September. Next week's show will break down the last week of September as well, as we'll preview the pretty heavy loaded month of October. I'll see you guys then.